Hey guys, today we'll be playing some more Hearthstone, and I'm going to be showing you one of my new decks that I've been playing since quite recently. It's my very first Shaman deck, and it's actually a pretty classical archetype, which has existed ever since Gen Greymane entered the game a bit more than a year ago. And it's Even Shaman, of course, which is the even deck which Shaman use. Um, it's basically very focused on board control. Thanks to the cheaper hero power, you'll be able to summon many totems. Um, and since there's also many other minions which either benefit from having many minions on the board, such as Sea Giant, or which benefit from playing many totems such as Thing from Below or Draenei Totem Carver. So basically a lot of synergy with those cheap totems. Also a very aggressive deck. You're trying to cheat out bigger minions than you deserve on certain turns, such as a Totem Golem on turn 2, which is going to overload you, or a Flame Wreathed Faceless on turn 4, which is also going to overload you, but you don't really care about the overloads because you want that value immediately onto the board. You really want to rush your opponent down. It's a very aggressive deck. You've got Crackle to simply throw into his face on many occasions. It's often going to be a finisher, but of course, nothing stops you from using it on very annoying minions from your opponent. Direwolf Alpha, which is a cheap minion, which is going to give your other minions more attack, so also very much in the spirit of the deck. Golaka Crawler, which is great against people who use pirates. I'm mostly thinking about rogues and warriors. Like if you play a pirate warrior, you're going to be able to get your Galactic Crawler for a lot of value by destroying one of their pirates, or against namely Kingsbane Rogue. They play some pirates linked with their weapons, so you're also going to be able to destroy those, which is always very favorable. You've got some defense against big boards from your opponents, such as Devolve, which has also got the great benefit of removing any buffs or death rattles from opposing minions. Um, You've got Maelstrom Portal for the really smaller boards from your opponent, which also has a benefit of giving you an extra minion, so it's really a win-win when you can play this under a good circumstance, like Spark Eel, which is also an aggressive minion thanks to its 2 damage, and which synergizes with Gang Greymane. Fire Guard Destroy, another big minion. Wind Fury is there because it's also a very easy finisher in many cases. If you can give Wind Fury to a big minion such as Sea Giant, Flame Wreathed Faceless, or even a Thing from Below, for example, it's often going to make you win because your opponent doesn't really expect it, or he just doesn't have any defense and he's already lost some health. So it's also great to have, but to use wisely, of course. And then some more aggressive cards, Fire Elemental, the Lich King, which is a very good 8-drop, very good legendary, which can be played in many decks because of the cards it gives, which are really good. And Skulkengeist, which is basically just there to counter Jade Druid decks, and will probably make you win against them because they really rely on their Jade idols to win the game, and you're going to be able to destroy them with Skulking Geist. You, of course, don't have any 1-cost spells in your deck because you're an even deck. Alright, having said that, I'm going to plunge in and show you how this aggressive deck goes in practice. But before doing that, I'm also still going to say something about this very version that I'm using. I got it off the internet. It's nothing. It's not my creation. And the reason why it doesn't use any jade, why it doesn't use the jade package, because many even shaman decks use this jade package. They want to build up a jade army over the game while also being very aggressive. This one doesn't do it, which means it's a bit weaker in the late game than the ones that do run the jades. but it does have the merit of being more aggressive in the early game, and I think it's more in the spirit of the deck to be able to rush the opponent down earlier, and when you reach the late game, if you haven't managed to cause any great problems to your opponent, that you just accept your fate and lose. So that's why no Jades here, but it also does pretty well, all the same. Okay, so in this first game we're playing a druid. Um, Now we're going to keep Flame Wraith Faceless because it's always a good card to have into your starting hand. Any powerful 4-drop is. We don't need Thing from Below right now because it's better when you've played lots of totems, and well, in the early game that means it's not going to be playable all too early. And I'm also going to keep Devolve because there's a quite big chance that it's a token druid. Token druids are everywhere momentarily, so we can also defend very well with Devolve and Maelstrom Portal, which is also good. So if it's a token druid, I would already give us a clean advantage. If it's not, well, then we'll see. Okay, so on the first turn, obviously we always play a totem. We never have anything from our hand to play because we don't have any one-cost cards. Totems are of course not very strong by themselves, but it's mostly their board presence and their synergies with some cards that make them so good to play. Cards such as Draenei Totem Carver and Thing from Below, and their board presence, which is going to affect Sea Giants in a favorable way. Okay, since it's a druid, I don't reckon he'll be playing any pirates, so since that's the case, we can just play Go Like a Crawler straight away. And as you see, we're just flooding the board basically and hitting face. It's a very simple strategy, but it's quite effective. Now we can play a 7/7 on turn 4. It's always better to play Flame Wraith Faceless than Fire God Destroyer, although Fire God Destroyer is also a pretty strong card. In most cases, it's going to be weaker than well, actually in all cases it's going to be weaker than the Faceless, so always try to play the stronger card first if you can. And if everything goes okay, we'll already be able to play a Sea Giant next turn. So yeah, I'd say we're pretty good here because it seems like our opponent's a bit of a slower druid. I mean, she did draw a card, so I reckon it's just some strategy based on card draw, and those are always slower decks. Maybe it's a Mechathune, who knows? If it's a Mechathune, normally we have the advantage because we're a lot faster for them. Okay, there he goes, already defending. Of course, we're not very happy to lose our Faceless, even though we get to draw 2 cards, which isn't too bad. But we just go back to flooding the board a little, and just don't mind his or her minions, as long as they aren't really threatening, just hit face. Okay, this could be a bit of an issue. Of course, we shouldn't forget we have a Devolve to get rid of him, but I don't know if Devolve is really worth it right now or not. You know what? I think it actually probably is, because we don't want to spend a turn without playing any minions. So let's just Devolve his minions. Play a totem, play a thing from below, and once again we can hit face a little bit. We've got a Maelstrom Portal, which is pretty good for his board right now, and we have a Wrath of Ad Totem, which is giving it spell damage +1, so we have a potential great coming up of his minions. Of course, he's now giving away his minions so as to kill our thing from below. So, okay. I still think we have the advantage. We've already worked him or her down to 12 health. We just have to push on a little more. Play the flame with it. Faceless. Summon a totem. Mercspark Eel once again. We've got a healthy amount of minions on the board. And we're just pushing as much as we can. Because that's how this deck goes. Still haven't really figured out what he or she's playing, but I'm almost convinced it's a Mechathun Druid. It could be a Targogle Druid, but I've never seen them play, well, their first minion played with the card draw. So I don't think it's a Targogle. I think it's a Mechathun. Okay, so of course Druids are annoying because they get to gain lots of armor game very cheaply. So we should be able to handle him or her. Right. Summon a totem. Fire Guard Destroyer. And we got a very good Fire Guard Destroyer because he gained 4 attack, which is the maximum he can gain. Okay, some removal from our opponents. But we're already very close to lethal here. Maybe we already have lethal? Oh wait, no, because the opponent minion has taunt. Okay. In that case, we're going to remove him. Just want to see if we what's the best way to do it. I mean, Maelstrom Portal shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, Maelstrom Portal. Didn't get a very strong minion. So, despite the armor game, our opponent's health is just going lower and lower. Okay, the Spreading Plague is good for a Sea Giant. Alright, let's see. Summon a little totem. And we get a very strong minion, the Lich King. So let's leave our board like this. This is a very good board. Next turn we have a potential lethal, so if our opponent doesn't have the sufficient defensive resources. Don't forget we also have a Crackle, which is great for throwing in our opponent's face. With the Death Grip we might steal their Mechathun, although we've already drawn more than them, so... Well, I mean, it might not be a Mechathun. I haven't seen her drawing enough cards for the moment. But I don't really know what he or she's playing. Okay. Right, it's going to make us burn some cards. That's okay. I mean, there's no cards we really can't afford to lose, I guess. But the taunts are very annoying. Our opponent's taunts. So let me see. What can we do? Oh, we've got two crackles, which means a very potential lethal just by crackling in our opponent's face. Um, well, I'm just trying to figure out. I think I'm going to summon a totem. Oh, that's the one I wanted. I think I'm going to take the risk and. Oh wait, it's not a risk. It's a forced lethal because it's minimum 4 damage. So there we go. Now, if that seemed easy, that's because almost all your victories will normally seem very easy. A surprisingly small amount of decks really has enough defenses to deal with this kind of hyper-aggressive decks. Like this one, for example, it wasn't defensive enough, didn't have sufficient resources. But when your opponent does have those, well, then it's going to be really the opposite situation. Then it'll just seem as if they beat you very easily. So either it's an easy victory for you, or it's an easy victory for your opponent. There's really not such thing as close matches, except maybe mirror matches with this kind of deck. All right, on to the next battle. Okay, so in this second battle, we're playing a Warlock. This could mean many things. We've got the ever popular Zoo, of course. We've got Darkest Hour Warlock. We've got Even Warlock. We've got Highlander Warlock. We've got Cube Lock. We've really got lots of potential decks that we're facing. Now, we're going to be keeping Fire Destroyer, a great 4-drop, which is always good in a starting hand, Totem Golem, which is a good 2-drop for a starting hand, and Maelstrom Portal, mainly to counter a potential Zoo. So, basically, yeah, our hand is pretty good, pretty satisfying. We're keeping it, and we're hoping to draw some more good cards. Unlike the Lich King, which is not great to draw so early, but, well, it's highly compensated by these 3 good cards. Okay, so we're not playing an Even Warlock, and we're not playing a Darkest Hour Warlock either, because they don't run Kobold Librarian. For the rest, all possibilities are still open. Doomsayer, okay. So, right, that's a bit annoying, of course. We could get rid of the Doomsayer with a Devolve, which would turn it into a 1-cost minion and would turn his Kobold Librarian into a 0-cost minion. I don't know if it's really worth it, though. Well, maybe it is, since it saved our Totem Golem's life. But I'm not sure, though. You know what? I think I'm going to do it, because I'm going to have the possibility of a potential very good Maelstrom Portal to turn after, so let's just save our... Oh, okay. Our Totem Golem. We probably should have attacked first, but that's okay. Alright. That was a bit of a weak play on his part, I think. He paid 2 for that Corrupting Mist just to kill our Totem Golem, but also to kill his own minion, so I'm not a fan of what he just did there. Okay, a strong Fire God Destroyer. I think we're going to have to run him down before he has a chance to summon Mal'Ganis, or even worse, Void Lords, because those are really annoying to play against. If you've noticed, the deck doesn't run any silence, so we have to kill the Void Lords little by little, and that of course is almost always tantamount to defeat. So Therefore, Highlander Warlocks and Q blocks are pretty bad matchups for us. When I say Highlander, I mean Reno Lock. That's the more common name for this deck. Anyway, we could kill this Void Caller with Maelstrom Portal, but I don't think it's a good idea because it's probably just going to summon a very strong demon. Uh, Absolutely not what we wanted. I misplaced this but like a crawler. I'd better have placed it here. There you go, Morganus. And a golden one at that. This doesn't really look like it's going to end well for us. I can get my Sea Giant out now. That's good. But I think I'd rather try to crackle his Morganus to death. Okay, this is good. So we got rid of the Morganus pretty swiftly, but our hand is pretty empty and we're lacking resources. So I don't think this is going to have a happy ending, this battle. The good thing with even Shaman is that when you're going to lose a battle, you often see it pretty soon. So you never really have to play out some very long battles just to see in the end that you lose. With even Shaman, it's always going to be you win quickly or you lose quickly. Okay, so it's a Reno Warlock. At least we can play a Sea Giant this turn. That's quite nice. Now we just have to go full face and hope we can kill him just before his Reno comes along. But, well, even if he doesn't have his Reno yet, I think his removal is going to be sufficient. Because Reno Warlocks are normally pretty good in defense. But as I said, they're bad matchups for us. Okay. Well, now obviously we want to play our Lich King. I mean, we could also play Merkspark Eel, get the taunt out of the way, be able to deal 8 damage. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's a bit too risky and too overambitious as well. We have a potential for a very good Maelstrom Portal next turn. Also, Death Grip could be very good if we steal his Reno. I mean, Orb is not lost, but I still think we're at a disadvantage. By the way, I didn't really notice yet until now, but this guy has a full golden card deck, I think. It's pretty impressive. I don't think I've ever had one of those before. And he's not a Zale or a Wizblank the Wonderful deck, because those don't include Reno decks, in my opinion. I mean, I think. Okay, we got Kazarkus, which is good. Let's just go face with this and play Gang Greymane. We've still got 3 duplicates in our deck. Once they're gone, we might be able to use Kazakas ourselves. But the best thing about us stealing Kazakas is the fact that our opponent doesn't have him anymore, because he's a really good card. Okay, that's swift removal. He is at 13 health, but I don't doubt he's got the healing resources with Reno. So I wouldn't get my hopes up. Especially seeing out a small hand, which is not really something to be proud about right now. I think there's some more removal coming. There you go. Okay, that's that Geist, of course, nothing for us because we don't run any 1-cost spells. So let's just play on. Hope he doesn't have Reno yet. And there you go. So I think he has the potential to return Reno to his hand, which would mean we want to get rid of him quickly, but I think playing Devolve is a bit too risky right now because Skulking Geist is a weak 6 cost. Viewing the stats, Reno Jackson is the same thing, so when we devolve them concerning their stats, they're not actually going to be much weaker normally. So maybe devolve isn't the best idea. On the other hand, we don't really have anything to play, so perhaps I am going to do it. But I mean, it definitely isn't a very good play. But as I said, we're a bit hopeless right now. And there come the Void Lords. Once those come, normally there's no chances at all anymore. They're just really hard to remove. Playing Geist just because we don't have anything else to play. Now you might wonder why I'm playing on. That's just because you never know. You might always get a pleasant surprise. But I think I'm going to resign soon enough. I mean, this battle could definitely still last for another 20 turns, with us just losing in the end. But I'm just going on a little bit longer, seeing if we really can't get a bit lucky and somehow turn the situation around. Problem is, he or she's probably also playing Blood Reaver Gul'dan, which is also a very strong card, which will revive Morganis, which will revive any potential Void Lords we'll have killed. Also Void Crawlers. So, yeah. Probably not. I'd like to kill that Death Lord now. Obviously. Thing from below isn't such a great asset anymore, because maybe I should kill these guys. No, I'm just going to attack the Void Lord. No, it's really got a full golden card deck, or at least almost, because this Fen Creeper, which came from Skulking Geists, from a devolved Skulking Geist, isn't golden, so for the moment I think he's only played one non-golden card. If we could just draw a generic Totem Carver, we'd have a no duplicate deck, and we'd be able to play Kazakas very favorably. And there you go. Our deck doesn't contain any duplicates anymore, which is definitely something to be proud about. But it's not going to be enough. We could still hope to win the fatigue war, of course, but this is not very easy to do against Blood Reaver Gul'dan, which I'm sure she'll have. Right now we play Kazakus. I think we want a big spell here. A big spell to try and turn the situation around. Let's take the demon. And let's take the health. Seems pretty decent. Let's get ourselves a Devil's Oar. Well, we have a pretty impressive board, and I have faith in our Kazakus potion. But as I said, we're not really a match for Blood Reaver Gul'dan, especially seeing as he's already reduced the cost of a couple of cards in his hand. There was nothing we could really do about that. And there he comes. Okay. I think this is the end for us. But at least we tried. Oh, we didn't revive Void Lord. That's actually pretty good. But he still has those Void Walkers, which are very annoying. Maybe I should have selected the damage for my Kazakus potion. Oh wait, I'm at 8 health. This is just going to be awful. Okay. So yeah, as I said after the first battle with this deck, when you lose, it's as if you really got outplayed, like by miles and everything. When you win, it looks like you were really stronger, and when you lose, you also know it very soon. Here, I knew it as soon as I knew it was playing Reno Jackson, because it's just a really bad matchup with the Morganis, with the Blood Reaver Gul'dan, with the Void Lords. But okay, better luck next time, and next time is going to be the third battle of this video. Okay, so the third and final battle of this video has started, and we're playing a Paladin, which is pretty much a guaranteed odd Paladin, meaning they want lots of silver hand recruits on the board with their hero power, and they've got many ways to buff them, so pretty aggressive deck. I'm going to keep Devolve because it's pretty good against buffed silver hand recruits. Gonna throw away the Crawler because he probably doesn't play any pirates, and the Faceless is pretty good because well, it's a powerful 4-drop. I'm also pretty happy with my Maelstrom Portal, obviously because of the 1 damage we can deal to many silver hand recruits simultaneously. So a good hand, good starting hand. I'd say our chances are now slightly better than his, but I can't promise anything, of course. These decks have a way of putting you in immediate danger very soon. And seeing him play this, I'd say it's well, an odd Paladin with mechs, so he's also going to focus on mech synergies. I could already play my Maelstrom Portal now with an enhanced effect. Don't know if it's really that good though. I think I'm just going to go. Yes, I think I'm just going to go with Direwolf Alpha right now and clear a little. Right, now we can play another totem, and let's Maelstrom Portal now. Maybe we did it a little bit soon, but I want the board presence straight away, um, so as to be able to start playing more aggressively. So we're not going to touch these 7 hand recruits. We're actually going to put a sea giant on the board. No need for the faceless now, because sea giant's obviously a better play. More stats and minus the overload effect. That's the thing against odd paladins. You often get the chance to play your sea giants very early on. They usually play sea giants as well. Although since this guy plays mechs, I'm not sure about that in his case. Well, we'll see. Now I'm still not going to touch the hand recruits, and I'm going to go face. Don't forget I've got a devolve in case things get out of hand. For the rest, we just push face. Right, so I guess the devolve would be put to good use next turn, except of course if he uses his hand recruits to kill my giant or my faceless, which I wouldn't like. But it looks like he's just pushing face. Okay, so we can have a good crackle here. Well, we get 15 damage into his face, plus crackle, that's a lot of damage. So let's see what he does. And it kills him. Okay. Otherwise I'd have played Devolve, but that wasn't necessary anymore. So there you go, very quick battle against a odd paladin. He was trying to rush me down quickly, I was trying to rush him down quickly. I came out on top because I got my board presence first. And I think his failure to kill my giant or my faceless on that penultimate turn was a bit of a mistake, because I had the initiative. And when you don't have the initiative against an aggro deck, you should probably just better defend. Especially if he's got huge minions on the board and that you can technically get rid of them, then just get rid of them, would be my advice. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it will make you want to play, to try out even Shaman one day. This deck list isn't very expensive, so well, maybe you can craft it quickly. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.